Hello, everyone. I'm sorry we're late. Gosh, we should have probably never scheduled a briefing for Monday. It seems like everybody's awakening from whatever they're doing on the weekends, and then voila, there's just lots and lots and lots of different people, that are hollering in a lot of different directions of things we got to do, and we sure have to do them. So with all that being said, we're joined today with our First Lady, Kathy Justice. We also are joined with our Superintendent of Schools, Michelle Blatt, and they're going to be talking to us today in just a few minutes. Before we get into that, there's something that is so important. We have declared another state of emergency in West Virginia. That's in Kanawha, Braxton, Calhoun, and Clay, and Roane counties. You know exactly what for. We've had an excessive amount of rainfall, a short period of time. The mountains we have make it really, really tough. We've got flooding again. We got people that are losing their homes and bridges that are in jeopardy and roads throughout these counties and everything. We've got more and more and more hardship on people, and it's a crying shame, but it's just that we live in these mountains, and it's very, very, very difficult no matter what is done to be able to get away from that. We've got all kinds of different communities that are involved, and in Kanawha County, the worst of it looks like right now is in eastern Kanawha County. You see that picture right there? I'm telling you, that's just terrible. And it just echoes the haunting feelings of June 23rd, 2016, when it ripped through everywhere, and it was devastation beyond belief. To the very best of my knowledge at this point in time, we don't have anyone that has been reported that we've lost anybody, but all of our folks are on the scenes and everything, whether it be the National Guard, our all hazards and swift water rescue team. We have aerial assets, like our helicopters that are working this, and all of our emergency folks have been dispatched, and they're working it in every way. But please give up your prayers to these folks and everything, because it's really sad and it's just terrible. That's just all there is to it. But we'll get through it. But the main thing overwhelmingly is we just hope and pray we don't lose an individual and or others, or other individuals, but we've got a situation, we just got to deal with it. It's a shame because we did have some great news to report on communities and schools. Today I'm joined by Kathy, our First Lady, and she's got a special announcement, and I'm going to turn this over to Kathy and Michelle in just a second, but I've got to say this, and if you're the governor, you're pivoting between an absolute emergency like that we've got right now that's just happened overnight and everything, and you've got to pivot to something that we're all very proud of and is doing really well. We're excited to announce that we're moving into an additional 15 counties across this state, and I think that brings the total to, well, I won't take anything away from Kathy, but I know it brings the total to above 100,000 kids that we're able to touch, and I think 260 plus schools. It's really a program that if you don't know anything about this, you should, because you've got to entrust in me just this. I always try to really tell you the straight, skinny, and the truth. With all that being said, I'm in the schools all the time, and because I'm a coach and I love being with kids, and so I'm in the schools all the time, and I know a lot about this, and I can tell you without any question whatsoever, this program is working in West Virginia. We are not aligned with the national communities and schools philosophy on a bunch of stuff, but in West Virginia, we do not pay attention to their to their ideas of curriculum or whatever like that. All we're paying attention to here is just helping kids, just absolutely helping kids. And it is unbelievable how this program is working. A lot of these kids we were losing. And there's so many stories that will really touch your heart. And, just from the standpoint that just maybe a child would need a jacket to be able to come to school. Or maybe a child, their family's been evicted from, their apartment or whatever it may be, and they need some type of help. They need a site coordinator to be right with them and stand arm in arm with them and help them through tough stuff. The obvious are the drugs and everything else under the sun. You may have a child that's just simply hungry, but with all that child, we're losing that child. But on top of that, not only are we losing that child, but that child can become very disruptive in the classroom when they're there, So absolutely, there's so many benefits that's off the chart of just being able to help that child and help that child get on a pathway for him or her to be able to do really good. But Kathy, come on and talk to us about this, and talk to us about this therapy dog program you got going. It's unbelievable, and it's just, you know me, I'm awfully in tune with what a dog can bring to all of us. And Baby Dog's done it, and so I think there's a whole lot of therapy dogs here that are doing good stuff too.
Well, thank you, Jim, Governor. Today I want to tell you all a little bit about communities in schools. Like the governor just said, there are 15 additional counties joining this fall, or probably today, legally today, and we'll have 53 counties out of 55 in the state. So that's pretty good. It's just been such a great program. It's to keep children in school, to make sure that they have one caring adult in the school who is the site coordinator that cares about them. They know that they can go to this person every day and that this person really cares for them. So children just their needs need to be fulfilled, like food, clothing, and shelter. We all think of those, but it's really hard when a child comes to school and they're hungry. How can they learn? I mean, we have to really kind of put ourselves in that situation and just help them as much as we can. We have a lot of case-managed students who, there are 3 levels. There's a first tier, it's the entire school. The middle tier is like the kids that maybe occasionally need help. And then the third tier is the kids that are case managed. And these children need the most help, and whether that be going to the dentist or whatever, or just any help that they can get, like a shirt to maybe play in a volleyball match or whatever, we're just there to help. So this kind of lets up the teachers in the school to be able to teach and not have to worry about all these things. And we're happy and glad to do these things. We have the expansion as well as the therapy dog programs, and this is wonderful. If you all haven't witnessed any of the dogs that have come into the counties thus far, they're just wonderful. We have labs. My mind just went blank. Okay, we have Labradoodles. We have labs, Labradoodles, and golden retrievers like this. We haven't had a lot of golden retrievers, but we're getting one tomorrow in Greenbrier County. Her name is Ruby. So Ruby's going to Greenbrier County tomorrow, and it'll be a fun thing. Cynthia and Stacy have just done a wonderful job for us throughout the year, and they're continuing to make the program go and just make the very best things come out. We have a lot of dogs. We're going to have 7 additional dogs going to counties thus far. The first one, like I said, will be tomorrow, Ruby in Greenbrier County. And Malfoy will be in Logan County in Chapmansville. Sky, a female brown Labradoodle that will be in Berkeley Springs in Morgan County. And Tora, a female yellow lab, will be in Elkins. Then we have some more dogs that Penny is a female yellow lab, will be in Pendleton County. Meadow, a female yellow lab, will be in Washington Lands Elementary School. And Nutter, a male chocolate lab, and he We don't know where Nutter's going yet right now. I think he's more geared toward a high school group of students than elementary, so we'll just see. But they all have homes. If you haven't been a part of this, and go to your school, if you have a dog in the county, see how all this works. The children, they love to come to school. The attendance rate just goes out of the roof when you get a dog at the school because they want to come and see this dog every day. The dog meets them at the bus and they talk to them, and they know they're going to be there every day. The children read to the dogs. The dogs are given big hugs by the children in the school. Sometimes the children are just having a hard time, and they know the dog isn't going to judge them or do anything at all like that, but they're going to make them feel good. So they come in and get just a big hug in the school. So that's what we're going on now. It's a wonderful program. We'd like anyone to become involved if they would like to or could. And just in any way, we want the community to be involved, whether it be veterinarians, places in the community to buy their food, or just any help that we can get. It's just wonderful. So, Katie, do you have anything to add?
We're going to welcome Ruby tomorrow at Greenbrier East High School. So we wanted to invite everyone to join us at 10 a.m. We're excited about the new class of therapy dogs, and we look forward to welcoming Ruby.
Thank you. Yeah. Michelle, why don't you finish this up here?
All right.
What you're doing.
Well, I just want to thank the Governor and First Lady for their leadership with communities and schools, and it's such an honor to lead this program and know the work that goes into it, and the fact that our Governor and First Lady truly understand the needs of our students and that we have to meet those needs before we can, address them academically. We did just last week train 76 new site coordinators and principals from all of our local counties. And these will be the staff that will implement this program to meet the needs of the students in those schools and provide them with the supports they need to be successful. So we are excited with the expansion to 53 counties and look forward to gaining our last 2 counties.
Bill, thank you. It's just a wonderful program, a great atmosphere, and please come aboard and get involved with us and see what we're talking about. Thank you all. Thank you, Governor.
I cannot believe you're calling me governor.
I know, neither can I, but that's all right.
You've called me a lot of things, but you've not ever called me governor.
This is probably the very best, right?
All right, well, let me say this to Katie, Michelle, Kathy. First of all, thanks. Thanks for all of us in this great state, and especially thanks for 100,000 kids, but let me throw out one more thing, and it's just this, and Kathy said that, but if you're out there and you'd really like to get involved and you'd like to see what the therapy dog stuff is all about and what's going on in the school, go to a school that's got one of these dogs. You would not believe it. You would just not believe how meaningful that is to those students that are there. And so absolutely, we need you. We need you from the standpoint of being able to step up. Maybe you could step up and pay the dog's vet bills for the year. Maybe you could step up and any medication or whatever like that. You could maybe pay for the medication for the dog for a year if it had to have anything. Specific shots or whatever it may be. To be able to help the veterinarian out. From the standpoint of food. Maybe you could step up and pay for the feed for a dog for a year and everything. All that stuff would really help and help our children in our communities. So think about that and everything, but it's a heck of a program. And just if you don't want to do anything other than just go see it for yourself, make sure you check in with the school and then go see it. You wouldn't believe it. It'd make you feel good. It'd touch your heart. Okay, I'm going to go on now to switch channels again to, some First Foundation appointments. Today, I'm going to announce my 5 appointments to the West Virginia First Foundation. I'm going to read through these. My appointments are Matt Harvey from Jefferson County. He's the Jefferson County Prosecuting Attorney representing Region 2. I'm going to appoint Jeff Sandy. He is the former Secretary of the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security. He's a certified fraud examiner and a certified anti-money laundering specialist. He's representing Region 3. Doris, and I think this is Stutler, and Dora is a badly needed education person that we need on this, and she's from Harrison County. She's the superintendent of schools. She's going to be representing Region 4. Elise Smith is an attorney and a philanthropist, and she is representing Region 5. And Greg Duckworth, he is the Raleigh County Commissioner and a retired state trooper, and he's going to be representing Region 6. So with all that being said, these folks are going to be on a board that's going to be handling the money and distributing the money from these major lawsuit settlements that we have. And so I'm sure they'll do a great job, and their primary job is to fight this terrible epidemic and, from the standpoint of all the opioid situation, and just make things better all across the state. Excuse me. In regard to foster children, and, I want to say this, that today, with my approval, the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, the Bureau for Social Services is increasing rates for child placing agencies and socially necessary services providers. We're going to increase the administrative rate for child placing agencies by 10%, and I have also approved a 30% increase for socially necessary services providers. So good stuff that's going on in the foster children, arena and everything, and we want to make it better and better and better. I'm telling you, this problem is nationwide, if not worldwide, and it's really doggone. It's just plain sad. That's all there is to it, and we just want to make it better. We lost a superstar, Ogden Nutton. Ogden was 87 years old, and what a life. I mean, you talk about a gentleman that served this great state in a capacity beyond belief, and all the great stuff that was done, it was off the chart. Snooky's wife is a superstar, into her own. I mean, she was always stuck on. Every time I've been around her, she's been just that. I know the family. I know the family well. We'll miss him, and we'll miss him big time. This type of individual, when they leave, they leave a legacy that is unprecedented. I'm sure the family will carry on and carry that ball and carry it very, very proudly. But with all that being said, he'll be really tough to replace. That's all there is to it. I mean, this was a great man, a great West Virginian, a legend, absolutely, in his time. And so we thank him for, in every way, his accomplishments. I could go on and on and on about his accomplishments at PNC Park and on and on and on. But he was an amazing man, and he'll be really, really, really missed. This week, the Business Summit is happening and everything, but this week, the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce is having their annual Business Summit at the Greenbrier. It's the largest gathering of business, industry, education, financial, and political leaders from around the state. I'm honored to be giving their opening address, again this year, and there's a couple of really exciting, big economic development announcements, and I'm only teasing with that and everything, but it is real, and you'll hear about that real soon. So stay tuned, and more good news on the way. Now listen, I've got to say something about this, but we got a couple of kids in West Virginia that are playing football for the Chicago Bears, and boy, they're doing really good. Huntington's Darnell Wright, who was picked 10th in the draft. He is really, really doing great. Both these kids are playing for the Chicago Bears, and Tyson Pageant is, a guy that was a quarterback, and a quarterback at a small school in West Virginia, overlooked, wasn't drafted and everything. Lo and behold, he's been signed, I guess with the Chicago Bears, and he may very well become their backup quarterback to Justin Fields, who's a superstar. But here's a young man from Martinsburg that is absolutely just impressing each and every one of us. And so good luck to them. And we've all got to now switch over just a little bit and be at least a little bit Chicago Bears fans, because we got two of our own playing right there, and we're really, really proud of them. So and the last thing, well, I've already gone through this, but I want to touch it one more time, and that is, please, right now, offer up your prayers to these people that are involved in this flooding. It is not good, and it's just really, really, really sad. But that's all I've got for right now.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, could you talk a little bit about how you settled on these 5 candidates, your nominees? How big was the short list? How did we end up with these names? And then my other question is, my understanding is these folks have to be confirmed by the Senate. Do you know when that will happen? Thank you.
Okay, Charles, I don't know exactly when that'll happen, but what we've done what we tried to do is look at the other appointees. And then what we did is tried to develop a level of diversity. As we looked at how to pick great people with great backgrounds that were absolutely willing to serve, and then have some level of diversity, and in doing so, and blend well with the appointees that we're already on the way. But I feel very confident that these people will fly through, as far as with the Senate, but we picked really good people, rock solid people that were superstars in their fields, and so they'll do good.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor, and everyone else. And I'd like to congratulate the 2 WVU players that are going to the Chicago Bears. Even though I'm a lifelong Green Bay Packer fan, I wish them the 2 well. On a more serious note, Governor, I want to get a picture of how the next 24 hours is going to play out. We still have a 60% chance of rain in our forecast today, and our meteorologists are predicting another 60% chance tomorrow. So there may be more rain upon more rain. So who's taking the lead on this? Emergency operations, and how do they coordinate with other agencies down to the local police and fire level? And also, what's the role of personal responsibility in this? I know that your manpower is out there with the government, but a lot of times people do things in storm that maybe aren't the wisest. They try to run to the store, drive through standing water. I mean, what's your so just give us your bird's eye view of what your officials are going to do as a team in the next 24 hours, and then address personal business or personal practices as well.
Mark, the easiest way for me to answer this is we're going to do whatever it takes. And then we're going to do whatever it takes times 2, and that's all there is to it. We don't know what's going to come in the next 24 or 48 hours as far as rainfall, but whatever it takes from the standpoint of the emergency management folks or the National Guard or whomever it may be, no matter what it takes is what we're going to do. And we're everybody is standing on go, and everybody, this is all hands on deck time. And you know what that's all about. And so with all that being said, we're going to do whatever we got to do.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Thanks for declaring emergency for those flooded counties so quickly. I hope folks in those communities are okay. I have a follow-up from a question I asked last week about Live Golf. Your family owns the resort where the event occurred. You're the state's chief executive, and you're running for U.S. Senate. Did you meet with representatives of the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund? Thank you.
I don't think so. Brad, I did meet, and I was at the golf tournament and going through. I was introduced to a fellow that said that they said that he was a Saudi representative, and I just said hello, but as I was going through a whole crowd of people and everything, spoke to him just a second and everything. He said that he was a former soccer player and involved in working on something to do with the English soccer leagues and whatever, but that was it. That was it in every way. But Brad, here's the thing. We can chase this in 50 different directions. The thing that how I see the whole thing is just one way and one way alone. It's bringing more good stuff to West Virginia. And a lot of people really, really, really enjoyed the tournament. As soon as they finished with our tournament, they went to Donald Trump's place, and enjoyed a great tournament there. They're going to a second Donald Trump site, at some point in time. And I truly believe, if there were any level of hang up whatsoever, I'm a real believer in President Trump. And so with all that being said, I think we made a great decision to have them, and I hope they'll be here for a long, long time to come. The level of talent was unbelievable. The Saudi presence was, for all practical purposes, nil. And so from my standpoint, a great weekend, of golf in West Virginia for a lot of folks. And the thing that was amazing to me more than anything is the fact that, and Kathy and I, we weren't out there much, but we were out there a little bit and everything, and we didn't see many people that we knew. There was so many people from out of state that were at the tournament, spending money in West Virginia and doing stuff, staying in hotels and everything. It was really, it was an economic boost, I'm sure, for our state, but a really nice event to have. And so, yeah, we can keep trying to stir this up to have a moment in the sun or whatever you do. But I can't be terribly respectful about this one, because this one didn't have any bells and whistles that were negative in any way with me.
All right, thanks, Brad. Governor, back to you.
Only thing I would say is just this, and being your governor, you have got to absolutely be able to pivot and keep your thinking right and make decisions and keep moving. Kathy's got a couple of things more that she wants to say, but I absolutely would just say just this. Keep your prayers with those people that are involved in this flooding. It's not any fun. It's absolutely really tough. And many of these people, a lot of the things, even if we don't lose life, a lot of these things that are their memories of their entire life are maybe destroyed in their homes, and then when we're able to go back and clean up and everything, it'll be a mess beyond belief. And I'll never forget this, and confounded, it was awful, and that is seeing the National Guard pull up to house after house after house when the cleanup was going on, and see these people dragging their memories, their life's possessions and everything out from their home, their photo albums, everything in the world, and piling them out on the street, and people coming by with the National Guard with an end loader, doing all they could do, picking it all up and throwing it in the back of a dump truck and taking it to the landfill. It was just terrible. And absolutely, I know we're going to have a bunch more of that. So, and that's the goodest, that's as good as I think it'll get, because hope and pray we don't lose people. But nevertheless, that's all I've got. Thank y'all.
Before we end, we'll go back to the First Lady for a brief comment.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Jordan, for letting me speak again. First and foremost, the flooding today is on everyone's mind. It tops anything that we've about anything that we've said today. So today is a really, really hard day, but it's going to get harder for all these people. So just remember to keep them in your prayers, help them, and anything you can do, please don't forget them, because we've seen this firsthand, and we weren't in it. Our home wasn't, but we have friends that were, and it's just devastating. So please give them a big hug, keep them in your prayers, and help them all you can. Thank you all.